things? It's Friday, and today I have launched something very exciting. More of that in a little bit, but if you have been watching my daily habits, it might be something that you might like to be part of. And don't worry, you don't have to run. If running is not your thing, you do not have to do that. So I have never had so many messages about, hi Amy, so many messages about this daily habit that I have been doing. I started it in the middle of November, and today is day 55. And the habit, if you're not familiar with it, is 15 minutes of running every single day. If I can do more, great. If I can't, no problem. So the minimum is 15 minutes, and I now have 55 days of data to talk about this. And yet, when it was like day 21, I made a 3-part series about it because I absolutely knocked my own socks off that I managed to do something every single day for 3 weeks. But tomorrow, I close out day 8. And the reason that I am talking about this, even though I don't get paid for running or anything like that, is this sense of a daily habit and really putting your action into place. Now, this is something that is so difficult in our day-to-day life because we are pulled in so many different directions. And every single person that I speak to, whether it be clients or somebody in the supermarket or on the school run or at yoga or friends or family, everybody else has their own version of busy. And that can be really quite consuming. And yet, I know there are so many people who want to do things this year. They want support. They want help. And this is the point that I got to. At the end of last year, I felt that, I'm calling it, if the album version of this was going on, 2023 for me was the ultimate reset year. And it was painful at times. I honestly felt like every part of my body, business, life, I basically got it all out the drawer and laid it all out and had a look at it. And you know when you see people on Instagram sharing their decluttering stories and it starts like, I've got this storage, it's going to be great, I'm working on it all weekend. And then within an hour, maybe, they're sitting on the floor surrounded by all their stuff going, well, whose idea was this? This was never going to be a great idea. That is what 2023 felt like for me. I felt like I was surrounded with all of my thoughts, ideas, feelings, trauma, all of it. And it was just all consuming at times. However, I'm glad that I stuck with it because it was an essential part of growth and moving forward. And it's really uncomfortable at that time to sit with those feelings because my temptation and my feeling is always just like push them to the side, get busy, do all of the things. Yes, a reset year. I won't be making any music, but no, that's been a really lovely way to be able to label it. Anyway, as I got into November, I turned 42 at the beginning of the month, and I had a dawning. You know that Mel Robbins quote that is often on reels, nobody's coming, nobody's da-da-da-da, all of that. I had that going on in my head. And after I had reset lots of things, I knew that I had to, it felt like I had to start again almost, even though I didn't. But I had to start piecing things back together. Again, you know when you have a big declutter and then everything's like really perfect and your cupboards are looking lovely. And then before you put anything back in, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to put that in because I don't want to, and you become a bit more discerning. And so I begun this running habit. And the first week was fine. I mean, I regularly run for a lot of my adult life. But it was something that I had to get used to. I also didn't know how long I was going to do it for. But after about 28 days, 29 days, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm in this. I'm in this rhythm. I'm going to give this a go. Because what I had understood through this reset was that I was lacking. And I know we're not supposed to talk about lack because it's not a great mindset, but that is how I felt. I felt like I was lacking in time and space and processing time for myself. And I know that when I run, I'm not available. Essentially, I might listen to a podcast, but I may just put my phone in my pocket and do it anyway. And I wanted to get back in touch with myself again and really think about stuff and allow myself just to have those deep breaths, where sometimes I know lots of us mums, like, we're breathing up here the whole time, and I just wanted things to kind of flow again and feel really good. And what I realized is that I needed something each and every day, because the output that I was having in terms of the world, in my house, with my partner, with my children, with my family, my friends, admin, school stuff, work, all of these things, there was an expectation that I would show up because, when you agree to become a parent, that's kind of how it goes. You don't often have a day off. And some people will be like, yeah, you do. You just, whatever. But I felt like I had done a lot of parenting essentially in 2023. And it sort of wasn't enough just to do something once every 6 months. When it's like, oh, it's Mother's Day, so go and book yourself a massage. And I realized that what I was putting out there needed to work every day in terms of it needed to deliver. And so I had to start putting stuff back into my body and really considering it and really getting to know it again and feeling like I was getting topped up. I also realized how powerful it was when I did the maths. So this monthly moves program that I've got coming up, it's 35 days. And even if you gave me 15 minutes of your time every single day, I'm just double checking my maths there. If you gave me 15 minutes of your time, minimum, if you could, for 35 days, that is nearly 9 hours for you over that period of time. And the further that I have gone, let me just do my maths and see where we are. No, not voice memos, bear with me. So I've given myself over the last 55 days 825 minutes, which is 13.75 hours. And it's so powerful when you say, okay, on this run today, I'm going to think about this, or I'm going to come up with an idea for this. And so I want to talk about my monthly moves, which is, so this is another thing that's happened. I have been putting out content for nearly 11 years, and I have never had so much engagement or like messages from people that I've met or maybe haven't seen for a while or never met about this sense of, I think I need to do something like this. I think that I need to do this little and often thing. Because I know for so many of us, we have projects we want to finish, we want to get something up and running, and this assumption that we'll suddenly have this perfect amount of time where, we're twiddling our thumbs. And again, I did the maths. So my children are 4 and 8. And with my youngest, even if she leaves home at 18, who knows if she will, who knows what we'll be doing then, I will be 56 years old. And this assumption that you just begin this when it's the perfect time, maybe when your children leave home. I just thought, gosh, there are so many like I'm going to be needed definitely in that full-time capacity until I'm 56 and she's 18. And why am I going to assume that I'm going to start then? Also, I have noticed it in my own home that, again, as parents, sometimes we feel this guilt when we have stuff for ourselves. I don't know why society does that, especially to mums, because they never do it to dads. My kids have watched me like leave the house. Matt is here. I'm not leaving them on their own. Leave the house for 15 minutes. And they know it's so quick. I'll be back in 15 minutes minimum. That's generally what it is. Occasionally at the weekend, I'll do a little bit more. But they have become so accustomed to this habit. And again, I think many of us have this guilt when we do something for ourselves, when we expand or we move into a fuller version of ourselves. But yet it doesn't have to take over our lives. It doesn't have to be a huge thing where it's like, right, I've got to go and be myself. And I don't know, I'm going to go to Bali for 2 years and leave you all. That is often not the case. What I've also found at this point of 55 days is I have so much data about myself, which is incredibly boring to anybody else, and so I won't be sharing it. But for me, I have got to know myself so much. And in an internet world where everybody's talking about hacks or trends or just do these 3 things and it's guaranteed to work for you, I don't believe it personally. I think we are all so unique and so wired differently. And this is when I always do work with clients. It's about your personality. It's about your circumstances. You know, when you're designing your personal brand, your portfolio, career, your income pie, it has to work for you. There's no point somebody over here saying this is exactly the thing that you need to do if it's in conflict with the way that you like to operate and your version of success. But what I have found over the last 55 days is I've got to know myself again. I really feel like it's been a new chapter of my life because, you know, when you're 17 or 18, you're so in yourself. You're so in the drama of like who's snogging who and what's happening and all the rest of it. And I think in my 30s, I lost myself a little bit because I was so busy in the doing and the wiping up. There's so much wiping in parenthood as well. You know, cooking the next dinner. Have you got this? Wash it, like all of it, and trying to do all of the things. And this 15 minutes of giving that time to myself for the last 55 days has been a reminder that I am important too. Not in an arrogant, in the world way, like I am important, but I am an important piece in my own household. That is for sure. And I'm not going to play that down. You know, there's 4 of us here, but only 2 of us are adults. So we have to have some kind of ideas. And I know myself, those times when I've been poorly, it can't last for very long, to be honest, because things need to continue and happen and keep moving forward. And so if I have important roles that I need to fulfill in my life, I need to take myself up that priority list as well. So if you would like to join this monthly moves extravaganza, I'm going to be working with a group of 20 people for 5 weeks. And I'm doing 5 weeks because it's a bit of a weird with February being a short month. And also I know that so many people need it in January. In January, everybody is talking about how tired they are, how cold it is outside. You know, oh gosh, isn't it sad that Christmas is finished? All of this stuff. So when we are looking ahead, we are going to start on January the 25th, which is 2 weeks yesterday, so a Thursday. And I'm going to be supporting you every single day until the 29th of February. So if you get your spring of like, let's go, it's March the 1st, you've got a bit of energy, you need that sunlight coming in, you're going to have put some amazing foundational pieces in place. Because I've also realized that through this process. The fact that I am doing it anyway, when it's cold, when I'm tired, when it's Christmas Day, when I've got loads of things to do every day, I'm now feeling like through that data, I'm building it up. I mean, if I had to say run 8 miles every day, I wouldn't be able to do it, but I can do 15 minutes. And so supporting each other, led by me, is really going to gather some momentum for you. So all of those things that have been lurking on your to-do list, or the things that you want to do, or you know you need to do, they're going to start to come to life. And I know that the coaches that I worked with last year, me as the client, I've really needed to show up for them. And they've always been like, okay, great. So what have you done? What have you learned? What's going on? And my temptation sometimes is to hide and to just run away from the situation or make an excuse or any of these things. And I have noticed the power in showing up imperfectly. So what do you get? You can go ahead and you can look at this group program. There is an early bird rate until tomorrow, just in case it's like, oh, okay, I need an incentive to do this. It's like up for the next 24 hours. It closes tomorrow at midday. What do you get? You get one-on-one time with me. You also get 35 days of this accountability. So I'm going to set up a group. So not only will you get that accountability and that support from me, but you'll also be able to see what other people are doing. And again, I'm not kind of putting that on you that you have to say, oh, well done, and be following up with the messages. I will hold that space for the group. And then at the end of the time, you'll also get that reflection time where we sit down and we look at what you've done and really establish what's working, what's going on, so you can get to know yourself. That is it for today. There are only limited spots, so please come and join. If you have been messaging me, if you have been thinking that you want to do things, thinking about it is only a tiny percentage. Actually doing something about it, and again, even if you've got limited time, if you can give yourself 15 minutes every single day throughout that time, it's going to be life-changing. Whatever that habit is, whatever that level of accountability is for you, I would love to know. Also, in our one-on-one session before we start, I will be asking you what you want to gain from this. So maybe there's a project you want to finish. I don't know, maybe there's parts of your website that you're like, yeah, I haven't put that up. Maybe you have a money goal, whatever it might be, or a health and fitness. I would love to welcome you and support you. And for you also to know that from the 25th of January all the way through to the 29th of February, you have me and a group of people in your corner going, go on, you can do this. And once again, it can be so difficult to make changes, because when you make changes, sometimes the response around you is a bit like, well, what are you doing? What's happening? Or sometimes people just like you to stay the same. That's a conversation for another time. But knowing that you're going to be around like-minded people who have got energy and momentum and motivation and love and care and support for you, it's going to be so, so powerful. The link is in my bio. Check it out, and I'll hopefully see you on the 25th. Don't forget about that early bird. It closes tomorrow, 12 o'clock, Saturday, the 13th of January. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon.